All right. We are going to be now going to the climax of the day, and we have our keynote speaker. And our keynote speaker for today is going to be Duren Munsami. He is the founder and CEO of Nudle, and it's an educational technological company specializing in AI and extended reality simulations. Nudle platform connects teachers and students in immersive learning experiences, enabling students to visualize and interact with subject matter using AR, VR, and MR technologies, aligning with educational goals and providing real-world work solutions. Additionally, Duren serves on the board of Multisat, which focuses on connecting schools and communities through satellite internet technology. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Duren. Duren, welcome.
Great, thank you. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Sorry about the trouble. I'll try and keep it short because I heard that lunch is after, so I'll try my best. So thank you, UJ, for having me and my team. And today I'm going to be talking about what we are doing in simulations, especially what we're doing in underdeveloped areas. So I'll just briefly go through our work, and then at the end I will give a demonstration with something called an XR display. Okay, so my name is Duren, and I'm the founder of the company. Our company is called Nudle, and basically we specialize in education technologies and simulations, and our mission is to help learners see and interact with the subject matter, as well as gain experience through simulations. So one of the things is in 4IR, a lot of the underdeveloped areas, as we know, might be left behind, especially with new emerging technologies. And what you might find is, if you look now in the corporate environments, with the unemployment rates, like these individuals might find it hard to find a job. Even if they do and they don't have these digital skills, they find it hard to adapt to new technologies. So with the new changes, you also see that machinery in the industrial area also uses a lot of computerized software. And how we started is we started working quite closely with basic education, and we noticed that in rural areas, a lot of students are limited to textbook illustrations. If they are lucky enough to have infrastructure, then have video, but they still cannot interact, or they still do not have practical experience. And most learning happens between reading and watching. So for the learning styles, you might also find that some teachers don't apply all the learning styles, which is like for your visual learners, your kinesthetic learners, and your auditory learners. And with simulations, it bridges those gaps. So to give you an example of some of the benefits is when students or employees learn through simulations, it's very practical. And they are able to practice a task over and over again until, or fail over and over again until they perfect it for a real life scenario. An example is we are working with a mining client. And what is happening is their employees, they're actually breaking the machines of the mining equipment. And that's costing hundreds of thousands of rands per day. So we have to simulate that task, and then those employees sort of master that until they get onto the machine, and it reduces all those errors. Okay, so I just have a few stats up here, and this is from PwC. I'm not going to go through all of them. From the positive stats that, just to use one, is when users learn through simulations, they're more focused. And in that immersion, it's quite exciting, and it also appeals to all these learning styles. So at the end of it, it's the knowledge retention is quite high as well. Okay, so through these exercises, we are preparing students with minimal computer skills for real work environments. And this is one example that we've done in the automotive industry. We actually did this use case a few months ago. And this is one day. What we found is both the teacher and the students were able to get a hang of using the software without any prior training. And in this automotive school, they like moved the engines and stuff away, and these students got to practice with the simulations. Here we have the automotive school. It's called Khabo Cars. And we got good news this morning that a non-profit organization from Canada has just funded the school to implement this hardware and software. Here we have the teacher. Thank you. They are able to disassemble the engine, and you'll see on an external monitor, they're able to show the students the subject. So how this differs from traditional setting is instead of reading or even showing a video, they can actually manipulate the subject in real time. These students, they don't understand English properly, but you can already see they know the models in real life. When they got hang of this, then they were actually quite excited, and it was quite hard to get them off. This was just this experience, but I'm going to skip this because of the sound. So with this one, we're working with CETAs at the moment, and we're setting up some hubs. In this scenario, what's happening is a student is able to prepare for the financial sector, and the AI is testing them on their product knowledge as well as doing an interview. So in these areas, we're also setting up computer labs. They'll be able to do like online interviews and stuff like that. But before that, with students, they get quite nervous. So at least by the time they get to these, the real scenario, they are well prepared. This is just an example, and we're going to showcase it just now. So let's just say, for example, this is just a pre-recorded of me using AR view. And if I was a teacher, then I can show these models in real time. And I can also show a working model. And now I can use exploded view where each and every component I can explain in detail. Okay, we are official partners to Pico, which is a TikTok company, and we've brought it into Africa for the first time. What I'm going to demonstrate here is something called mixed reality, and it is me and BK working on human anatomy together. So what you're looking at there is a projector screen, and that's BK is just playing around with the anatomy, and I'm on the other end, and you can see he's passing me the rib cage, and we're able to collaborate together on this project. Okay, so another challenge that what we've experienced when working with educational organizations is we've seen that they have implemented XR hardware, for example, VR headsets. And often what they would tell us is they're not really using it at the moment. And I think one of the important things is you cannot prioritize hardware without good content. So the gap that we are trying to fill is align it with teaching plans and curriculum. so it does not become a missed opportunity. And we are now building a library, so not only products that Nudle is developing, but we're also working with other developers. And it is across augmented reality, virtual reality, and mixed reality. This is two of our hardware partners. One is KMax. So KMax is a technology VR giant in China, and then the other one is Pico. And we are exclusive with KMax in Africa. The programs that we are doing, and I spoke about the underprivileged areas, is we are actually doing simulation training in communities. So a lot of the NGOs are working with us where we go in and we teach educators how to use VR, AR, and MR in their lesson plans. At the end of the day, it also provides a very exciting experience for the students, especially those of disadvantaged areas. The second one is called Nudle Simulation Labs, which I'll go into detail now. And another project we are working with is called Nudle Metaverse Competitions. So this is just some of the work we've been doing. We've been working quite hard to educate public sectors, both basic education and higher education. We've signed an MOU with the Department of Education, Gauteng and Eastern Cape, to set up more labs across the two provinces. And we're also now working with the CETAs. So earlier I spoke about the simulation labs, and this is actually a digital equity program. So before we sort of introduce these emerging technologies, we have to think of the factors that prevent them from being motivated to use it. Some of the things include, like, if we go into some rural areas, not only is there no water, but sometimes there's no internet, there's no solar. So it makes this projects redundant. What we do is we go in, we look at the factors, and we pay attention to teacher development. And to give you an idea, this is a school that we set up last year. It was opened by the MEC, and with this one, we looked at all the factors again. For example, one of them, we remodeled the whole classroom to give it a bit of a more energetic environment. And then secondly, we installed solar and satellite internet. And then finally, we started equipping the classroom with the technologies. So we've got your positive response. And what actually happened is, when we were building the classroom, we covered the windows with covers. And every now and again, there were like lines of students trying to figure out what we were doing. When you opened up, these kids, they only left here at around like 6 p.m. Because they were so excited to use internet and getting to use the new technologies, such as VR and the XR displays. So earlier I spoke about the metaverse competition. We have signed up with Cybono to hold the first one at the end of the year. What will actually happen is we are working with the Schools of Specialization, which is a special project of the Department of Education, Gauteng. And there will be about 6 to 8 schools who will come to compete in simulations. And the objective here is to motivate the schools for digital transformation. So when I say this, what has happened is, some of the projects that we have done, the students are really excited and they're really keen on using these technologies, but it's actually the teachers that prevent them to use it because they're so used to the traditional way. And what is happening here is we also got scholarships involved. So the students who win this will be getting scholarships to UK, China, and some other countries, as well as prizes for the school and the teachers. Okay, the next one is a broadcasting center, which we are involved in setting up. So what's going to happen is there's going to be a dedicated channel. This one is in Eastern Cape. And some of the programs where there's educational programs from the teachers will be using simulations to educate the audience. And it's just a little bit more of an exciting way. Last year, based on some of these projects in the rural areas for digitization, Nudle was lucky to win the UNESCO award and represent South Africa in the category. So some of the projects are endorsed by UNESCO as well. And okay, so that concludes my presentation. I think just to end before I show the demo, we're quite excited to work with organizations, especially on the projects that we are doing that has impact. So if there's anyone from R&D or anyone that has programs that can contribute to the underdeveloped areas, we welcome that. Thank you, everyone. Okay, please give us like 30 seconds just to set up.
Whilst they are setting up, don't forget our social media platforms. On Instagram, it's UJ Library. On LinkedIn, it's UJ Library. On X, formerly known as Twitter, it's UJ Library. Facebook, UJ Library. And there are more prizes to come this afternoon. The hashtag is UJ Library International Conference. If you want to take pictures of what's happening right now, let's do that. Let's make this trend.
Can I please call Pavlinka just up to experience the demo? Happy birthday. Okay, so I'm just going to demonstrate these models to Pavlinka, and we're going to use automotive software. So what's going to happen is what the audience sees is just the AR view, but Pavlinka is going to see these models come out of the screen. I don't know, are you seeing that?
It's perfect. It's perfect.
Okay, so what's happening right now is this is sort of like an MR view. We're using these 3D glasses. I'm using the stylus, and it's a very intuitive way to work with the subject. So I've got an EcoFlow engine here. It's a similar software I showed in the presentation. And now what I can do is I can use exploded view. Now I can actually pull apart each and individual car parts, especially now if I want to study each item, and I can see the information here. Now, we can also look at things like, let's say, for example, I'm going to go to, everyone likes turbo, so let's look for it. Oil filter. Let's look at oil filter. And you can also do exploded view. But what I want to show you is I want to show you a working model. So let's, where are we? Cooling systems. Okay, there's quite a lot in here. Okay, let's go, oops. Okay, you can see here, you can also look at this. Okay, here we go, here's a working model. Okay. Engine start system. Okay, 1 second. So, with this one here, we're going to look for, here we go. We're going to look at a working model. I'll pull that out quickly. And now, if students are going to want to understand the gasoline engine and the motion of the gasoline engine, then they can look at it through this. So I'm going to show you one more. It's quite broad in all the different parts of the car. You can fully assemble and disassemble a car. You can even do testing. So for example, if you're going to go work in Mercedes, by the time you get into Mercedes, you also have a good understanding of car maintenance and assembling and disassembling vehicles. So this one is animal anatomy for veterinary studies. And I'm just gonna pull out this husky. Can you see that? Okay, so now if you wanna dissect the animal, and let's just think of this in schools where they would dissect frogs. You wouldn't need to catch a frog and dissect it. You could just do it right here. And again, there's information on each part of the animal. If I want, I could go all the way down, remove the muscle, digestive system, everything, where I get to just the skeletal structure. And then I can even break up that further. If we want to understand the heart, I'm going to pull out this heart, and you can feel this pen. This is now haptic feedback that is simulating the heartbeat. Yeah. So again, I think I didn't bring. Did I bring it out further? Let's bring it out. Yeah. Okay, there we go. So again, I'll make it bigger. Okay, so thank you everyone. I won't take, thank you Publica for coming up. Yeah.
I was curious enough earlier to stop by and to see this, and immediately I said, oh, that engineering will love this, because you can teach students actually to see the part of the car or whatever you're teaching them. The moment I saw this, I said, oh, animal physiology and anatomy, it's good for my zoology students. So I think this is a product that we should consider, but we need to find funders, somebody to give us the money. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much. Let's give him a big round.
I just want to say one more thing before I leave. In terms of some of the projects Nudle is working with, there are ways where, besides outright purchase, there are like match funding models and stuff that we work with our partners. I understand also there's the Erasmus program where both the public sector and some of the university partners have spoken about. So if anyone is thinking of implementing this and using these programs, then feel free to reach out. Thank you very much.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. Okay. All right. Before we close out for the afternoon, any questions, comments? 1, 2 comments? Yes. Okay.
Thank you, Duren. Dipito is my name here. I've got a little question to you. When designing these programs and simulations, do you take into considerations the needs of students with disabilities? It might be those who are visually impaired or any other disability. Are the programs user friendly for those students? Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, this question has come up, especially with some of the projects we're working with from the public sector. I wouldn't say students that are visually impaired, because it's reliant on quite a lot of visual aid. But for students with disabilities, like physical disabilities, it's quite amazing where we have like some programs where you can experience travel and culture. One of the things is we're also looking at, there's a teaching program where teachers go over and we have to educate them on the culture of other countries. But yeah, to go back to a disability, physical disabilities, other disabilities, if there's a hearing aid, it's still fine. There's still, you could see and visualize, but we have considered that.
Thank you, Duren. Let's give him and the team a big round of applause. Thank you.